So I always tell you guys, you know, when God is putting me through a situation where I'm having demonic spirits have the power to persecute me just like a prophet, even though I'm not a prophet, because I have divine missions, and every aspect of my life, everything I see actually has a meaning and a wisdom, and it's connected to what God wants me to do to help human beings, and it's not just suffering for me. I'll give you some examples. Lately, God is opening my eyes to see some of the things that keep happening. For example, God has put me on the eastern side of the country and not the northern side. He's actually the reason I'm on this side of the country, because I could easily go to the north side, because he's using the things that he's doing on the on the eastern side, right? Which just means like southern states. He's using that. He's using that to teach me then what's going to happen to human beings more as the world is about to end, which is a lot of natural disasters, right? The things that are natural, like rain that happens. Okay, and it's happening a lot more on the southern side because, you know, they're more sunny. You're going to see more of that sort of weather than more here. Because, you know, when God sort of is doing things where he makes it rain more, he usually, not always, it depends, right? But would you agree with me? If more of these, what's the word? They call it global warming, right? It may not be global warming in that sense. It might just be punishments, right? Or tests from God in that sense. And not always something humans did. Their environment, just naturally the result came out. You get me? Things like rain and floods, when they start to happen, you would agree with me if we were to study, we could find a place that it happens more than other locations in the world or a country, right? Okay. So God intentionally put me on the eastern or southern sides of the United States because that's where it's going to rain more. Because I just realized why. He is actually trying to show me then that we need a solution for people who are homeless and have nowhere to stand. Right now, there's 2 people who are homeless in this public place that I'm in, right? It rains. We all run out inside or whatever, but it's just a little sprinkle right now, so I didn't go inside. Oh, the tired of these airlines. Every 5 seconds there's an airline. Why don't I always I always ask God how come they don't crash into each other or something. It's really dangerous. They're really too close to each other. I know humans know what they're doing, but it's possible this becomes a problem very soon. Another crime is happening on the road again. Police are chasing someone again. Right? Since I tell you guys, one of the divine missions I have from God is to be a humanitarian who helps those who need help. And you don't have to be homeless, right? You could just be outside that moment and it could rain, right? Okay. Guess what these immoral laws is that the devil made up using bad humans in your government? He made it a crime to go under a building if it rains or something, or if you're just homeless at night and you don't know where to go. They call it trespassing. You know? It's so dumb. Even more dumb when the building is just an empty place or a public place or sometimes an abandoned place. Why you care? You have no use for it. Give it to people. There you go. They're not moral. They're not people of God either. So obviously there's no compassion. Only someone God is, you know, using to help you is gonna obviously tell you to do such a thing, right? This noise is It keeps raining, but the sun is still up, just so you know. So that's another thing that I want to tell you about what God is showing me. Many times I don't even know if I should go inside or not because the sun is right there. It rains a little bit, then it stops. And then it rains again, and you're like, okay, it's going to do a little sprinkle. And then it just pours. So that's another thing God is showing me. Natural disasters, as well as just weather overall, is going to start to become unpredictable. You know? Such as, I always check the weather, you know, like the weather forecast, and it says it's going to rain for the next 3 days, and that's actually true. Exactly the hour that they say it will. Okay, and that's actually a knowledge God gave humans, right? since only God knows what's going to happen in the future. Okay, and then there are days that I check the weather, it says it's not going to rain, and it pours for the next 4 days, like that. You see what I mean? So it's just God's way of putting my focus to things like that, because what if I don't notice that, right? Because, exactly, you might be like, okay, I get it, those things are going to happen more, but how does that matter? It matters because God is saying, I need to come up with solutions. Airline again. My God. Because God is saying, right, since He wants me to help people, that I need to come up with solutions to help people who are just going out and about in society, especially in countries like European countries, basically non-Muslim countries, because they're more harsh and mean to poor people. So they don't believe you can just take shelter in someone's, roof outside, their store or a building, just things that obviously as our humanity would be normal with that, right? What the hell? But okay, governments are saying that's trespassing, that's loitering. And that's actually why when demons persecute me, right, they stalk me and they I always tell you, try to accuse me of crime. They do like to actually try to accuse me of loitering or trespassing. And there you go. I'm just thinking it's suffering. I'm just thinking I'm someone that God has chosen to just go through suffering, and this is just the suffering. You get me? It could have been something else, but okay. I didn't realize it's basically the things that God is saying, right? Demons overall on a global level are torturing His creation with, right? They're harassing people, even if you're not homeless. You get me? Just that moment is raining. Now the airline. Right? Even if that moment, right, you're just chilling at a park having a picnic, because that's sometimes what God puts me through. I go to these nice parks, everyone's having a picnic, they're having fun or whatever. Then they all get possessed and start to act crazy. So they're not going to have fun anymore. They're going to start to do evil. Right? You get me? He allows me to be in situations like that, where the reason I'm outside sometimes is a normal reason like that, and not only when I was homeless, but situations like that where I'm just at a park just to enjoy a park, and then another police. You get me? There's a fire. It's always, I've noticed a little bit sometimes when it rains, sometimes there's too much fire, which is weird. So loud. See, before I used to see that as harassment from demons because I'm recording the truth, I'm trying to teach you things, and I would sort of block it out. But now I learned from God, because He gave me more wisdom, that I should let you hear these noises and behaviors and things around me that since it's audio you can still hear, right, and understand, because I learned that it's actually things that I am supposed to use to teach you something. So I'm gonna let you hear the things I usually used to cut off, So yeah, yay, it stopped raining now. Okay, hold on. There's another airline again. So yeah, since God wants me to help people, it's like He's putting me in the suffering that then they're going through. He put me through homelessness. He put me through unemployment. He put me through being accused of a crime I didn't commit, being put in a jail. He put me through being accused of mental illness, being put in a mental hospital. He put me through situations where I get to see the sort of evil laws in these countries that like to act like they're civilized or something, right? They take your human rights away, just basic human decency, to take shade in a building or a store. They call that loitering, or a bus stop. Or if you're homeless, you really just want to sit there at night, right? When I went to Texas, there were times I sat outside at a bench waiting for the bus, and police would approach me and police would never approach me and bother me. It's so funny, right? Texas was actually kind of nice to some degree. Okay, but then I went to other states on the south side, and they're just in your face, It's just, I just protected myself from ever sitting there too long. I just left. Another airline and another police at the same time. Another airline just went above me, and another siren or police is running again. This one is ambulance. Actually, fire too. Wait a minute. Oh my god, I'm so happy today. That's why I'm recording so many episodes in one day. You might notice I'm recording a lot of episodes right after the other. Today is July 18th. Because God is teaching me the reasons behind the things that are happening around me over and over and over again, which is obviously, yes, it is still harassment to me, but some of them are so strategic. You know, God picked them in a strategic way that He's still teaching me how humans are suffering either way. You get me? Okay. What was I talking about? I gave a lot of examples. So yeah, God basically wants me to come up with solutions to help human beings, whether you're homeless or not, with this situation where if it rains or if you just need shade, right? What to do? We need to find a solution to that, a place they can take shade, and it's not criminal for them. Especially since that's gonna start to happen more now, right? Another airline. You airlines better leave me alone. I'm tired of this. Should be a way to talk to them and tell them to leave you alone. Literally, it's still sprinkling a little bit of rain, and it's sunny. The world is gonna start to become more weird like this to some degree, because the world is about to end. You know, a lot of bad things are gonna happen. Some natural disasters only God can do, and some humans who are just evil are gonna start to do more bad in the world, immoral things. It's gonna happen simultaneously, so that then the suffering is extreme. And you would say, isn't God good? You always tell us that. Yeah, he's then gonna send you help. Yay! We don't know what's gonna happen again, right? If everything's gonna be peaceful at the end and then the world ends, right? Or then it's gonna be great. Whatever. Let's not go there. Either way, help is always gonna come. After every difficulty, there's ease, as Allah teaches you in Islam, or God Almighty. Oh my goodness, I hate when I give generic things to you. I just talk about something random and then I want to go back to my subject and the airline comes back. So I have to pause again. I have to control my headphone because it makes too much noise. It seems like I'm doing something. I'm not, I'm sitting, you know? Okay, so yeah. I'm just not going to tell you, right, what I'm going to do, but being inspired by God to also help people if they're outside, how to deal with things like rain randomly coming out of nowhere, other ways you need shade, and making sure that these immoral laws don't hurt human beings who need shade. So God intentionally made, right, demons possess these two individuals who are homeless to just stand there. They don't want to go in these nearby places they could just run to. Again, it's just a little sprinkle, so you can stay outside if you want or not. But then at one point it poured. Okay, but you get me? They could just stand away from me. Why are they facing me? It's intentional. Okay, but if I focus on the fact that demons are made by God to do behaviors, right, that are persecution, right, they're given that power, then I'm just going to think I'm being harassed always. I'm not always going to see sometimes I'm being taught something too, right? So it's very hard situation God has put me in, you know, in the sense that it requires a lot of thinking to figure out sometimes what God is trying to teach you. It's too spiritual. He's teaching me a lot of things from just one little behavior someone does. It's overwhelming. Again, he gave me the tools to figure it out, right? It's just I have to think. But if I just want to dismiss and I'm just so focused with getting out of the situation, well, I need my carnal needs met. So I'm just going to go ABC. I'm going to help myself. If I think that's what this is all about, then I'm going to forget what God is teaching me. You agree? That this is big situations where I'm being taught things. I'm being taught how to help humans one day. So yeah. Anyways, they literally stood in the rain for a long time. Their clothes are drenched, and they don't have any like bag or anything to put over themselves. And I'm sure even if they have clothes in their bags, they're not going to have any way to replace them because it got too wet. While everyone else ran somewhere, got in their car, etc. You might be like, why would they do that to themselves? There's no nearby building right now that you can stand and take shade. So, you know, Okay, another airline. Hold on. You know? So when it just sprinkles a little bit, we all have the option to just go in or not. So I sometimes just don't even go in. I don't care. Okay, but then when it pours, there are times that I see people who don't have anywhere to run to. You get me? Because God is intentionally putting me in an environment where either I am sort of like in the road or downtown, and you know how downtown is. Usually there's just so many stores, there's so many bus stops. Okay, I can just go in those places and take shade because I take the bus. I don't drive. So that's kind of why I'm gonna experience a lot of rain attacking me. Not attacking me, sorry. Okay, but then let's say maybe I'm in the other sort of areas, not necessarily downtownish, not necessarily city-like, that sort of city-like city, but more like sort of quieter places. Okay, it's more like homes usually, right? And then if I'm waiting for the bus, they don't have any a bench, and sometimes they don't have any sort of um, sort of shade above you, right, the roof that a bus stop usually has. So I've been put in those situations intentionally by God for that reason. So I can see what those people then would suffer from. You get me? They don't have to be homeless. They could just be taking the bus. You're walking, you get to a point, okay, you need to take the bus, and the bus is in a position where there's no shade, or maybe there is shade, but you're scared they're going to accuse you of trespassing because you're in there too long because it started to pour heavily. And you would think, right, police are human. Why would they bother someone if they think the reason they're in that bus stop too long is because of rain? I just told you. You already know governments are evil. You already know these humans are told to bother you. And the good cops obviously will not bother you, right? It's about morality. They'll create a reason if their manager is the one saying to them, why did you not do what we told you to do? Well, obviously, they're going to create reasons. They're going to remind us human that was humanity. Well, okay, good cops know how to help you, but I'm talking about the typical one. They're bad, obviously, so they're going to obviously take advantage of that and approach you and be like, hey, this is loitering. You get me? Someone could really be in there too long, and they don't want to go anywhere, right? There's no destination, and people sometimes are trying to get to a destination. They just don't know how to deal with the rain or something. Another airline. Right? So at any point you could be, as a police, right, be talking to someone who's not homeless and they just don't have anywhere to go from this rain or from something, right? Or maybe they're waiting for a ride, right? Humans would choose to go sit at a bus stop instead of waiting for a lift ride or something in just the highway or something. Or wouldn't you just like that? Then you might have to wait for that lift too long. There are times I used to take Lyft before. Obviously, there are times I would leave a hotel because demons would harass me. I have to not go outside and wait for them somewhere. Usually my Lyft rides were fast. I'm just saying, you get me? Because now I've been put in those situations by God because I travel. I understand that a lot of the suffering that governments are causing people, you know, even if they like to act nice and decent with you. No, when we say loitering, we mean people who are really bad, who really are just entering buildings to just harass that business. They always going to act like they mean a bad type of loitering, that, right? The human, their needs are met or something, their human needs of survival, and they're just there to bother people or something. Come on, that's like 0.1% of the time. Airlines. Let me give you the spiritual meaning of why there's so many airlines going above me all the time. Why God put me in a state. It doesn't matter what city I go in this state. There's just always an airline around me. Lately, a lot of airlines are crashing. Just so you know, there's a lot of people dying from airlines. Okay, we all know bad things happen, right? Things like that happen. Things that you cannot always control, right? They're human. Things like that happen, right? If God maybe wanted you to die that way, okay, that's how some people have to go and leave this earth. Yes, we know, right? But when something is happening too much, it depends, right? We have to be careful. Sometimes it's actually from God. Maybe that is his way of taking people's lives, right? Because God creates reasons for you to die, right? You don't just faint and die, do you? He gives you disease, he creates natural disaster like that. And when it's not within his will, it's when crime is being done to you and you die. Okay, that's a sin on whoever did that. So, right, it could be that way. It could be God wanting people to die, and he, right, uses his sky to create something and they just die. Another airline. I'm sick of you, Delta Airlines. Can you stop coming here? Why is it always Delta Airlines? Okay, sorry about that. I just like to joke with you because it's boring at that moment. Right? But then there are times, right? Like I said, demons are creating situations where they're creating bad situations for humans. Crime to happen, death to happen. You get me? They're creating problems. So they might cause two pilots to just crash into each other in situations that you would say humans are very well trained and they normally, right, would not have such a problem. Either way, it's always with God's permission, right? When something happens that is usually dangerous, it actually happens. That usually includes danger, and you land safely in that situation in your life. It's always God who protected you, right? Okay. So it's always God either way when pilots are not having problems. But you get me? Well, then the devil, right, he has free will to do evil in this world, right? Possess people, do bad things, create situations for them, and they just naturally fall to danger like that. Okay, he's obviously being allowed to attack the human race because the world is about to end. So he's just gonna attack, and you're gonna be like, why is this happening? Why does it keep repeating? Why are all these airlines malfunctioning or whatever? Why are people not doing their job very well? Because sometimes it's from when they're taking off from the airport, wherever they sort of stay, and all those mechanics and all those other sort of warehouse-like jobs, those human beings, those labor jobs, there's so many types, right? Those humans have big responsibility to make sure. Imagine if they're tired that day or sick that day and they just make a mistake, right? Now people die like that. It's a very important job. So those people, really do deserve good salary and things like that, because not that others don't deserve good salary. I just mean the idea, right? They should be well taken care of. You should always make sure they're okay. Because, right, if they're sick, if maybe they're drunk, right, if there's something wrong, they're going to do something, and now that's going to affect the airline. Another airline. I want to keep telling you there's always another airline, because you're not going to necessarily hear the sound very well. I have headphones on. So, yeah, God, right, showed me that, right, this is going to start to become a problem. A lot of people are going to start to crash into each other. I'm not joking. From airlines, things like that. Just like vehicles are being used to commit so much crime, right? But for an airline, it's not intentional. Obviously, a pilot is not trying to kill you or himself. It's just demons are going to create the problem for them. They're going to get him drunk that day or her that day, and they're going to possess them in a way that they don't. You get me? They influence the human to then not do what they usually are supposed to do when they're drunk, sort of get that out of their system, etc. Like that, just the way they influence that human to not do the right thing. They're going to influence them because they're possessing them and they're sending them thoughts, right? Like that. While usually, obviously, humans who are non-Muslim drink alcohol, right? These types of countries, for example, well, duh, they know what to do, right? They know how to be safe. It's just because people are possessed now in a way that's heavy and extreme to just have a lot of problems that happen to them and others in this world. Okay, you're going to see a lot of humans doing things that normally they don't do, right? They're not doing their job very well. And then now crimes are happening. Death is happening. You start to then say, what is wrong with our employees? You get me? What's wrong with the employees of our world? Why are people not doing their job very well? Because, I told you, demons are going to push very decent and good humans out of their jobs, using humans who are like the Karen personality. They harass you, they bother you, they, right, do workplace bullying. And now they're going to hire these humans I tell you every day are, right, terrible people who are possessed stalk me all the time. They're going to take these important jobs. And okay, they're going to then commit the crime, or their demons control them too much. They're going to influence them and cause that crash like that. The average pilot I see now looks like the typical human I always saw at my jobs. You know, very lowly, shallow human being in terms of their morality. They're basically the typical male creep or pervert I saw at all my jobs. Okay, but to you, he looks like this educated, wonderful, cool pilot. You don't know he's not an actual healthy, wonderful male. You know, the typical human is very evil and perverted, obviously. So they're obviously doing these jobs, and they were always around, and you're thinking, but how come then bad things didn't happen before? They were obviously the ones usually doing these jobs anyway, because the devil wasn't using them. Now they have God's permission to create more chaos in the world because God's truth is coming. You get me? Imagine if God allowed the devil to always do that all the time. Then we wouldn't have times in human history where our world is nice. You agree? But God has to create balance. He allows the devil to attack the human race, yes. But why would he allow him to do that all the time? That's insanity. Then there would never be time of peace, or at least normalcy, correct? Okay, so when he's allowed to attack the human race more is when God's leaders in religion is coming back. You get me? There's a reason. It's not just random. So then, for that reason, the humans that just used to do their job before, now will start not doing their job very well anymore. And COVID is making it worse because that vaccine has evil stuff in it, and it's going to, give their demons certain ways or qualities to control them. You get me? Okay, and then for that reason, you're going to see then these humans are starting to now abuse their jobs, or they're just going to fall into situations that they didn't necessarily intend, right? And just, and they just start having bad things happen. Like a pilot didn't necessarily intend to die that day and make everyone die by doing his job badly. But he was just made to forget maybe to do certain things because he's possessed, and now they have more permission to use him in a bad way. Does that mean that it's not within his free will to protect himself and God is unjust? No. It's just they just have the permission from God to attack him more, attack her more. You get me? Just attack you more. More witchcraft. They do something to their brain maybe, and the person forgets what they were supposed to do. Someone approaches them. Maybe there's a fight in the you get me? The airline or whatever. Like that, just something happens, and it sort of distracts them maybe. And you get me? That sort of situation. And demons are the ones creating that sort of fight or argument or crime in the airline. And like that, you already know, every day, ever since 2019, these humans who have like the Karen personality, weren't they always fighting and kicking each other off of air? NASA ambulance this time. You see, you guys cannot say that I'm not going through something weird. So how many times did this happen? And just so you know, it's only my side of the neighborhood. The city I'm in, if you just go to the other parts of the city, everything's fine. So it doesn't mean the city has some problem. It has nothing to do with me. No, it's demons are harassing me. You get me? So they're just gonna create more crime in my city, the neighborhood I'm in more, and all the ways that then you would say, well, how does the other things connect to you? Those are global. You're not in every country in the world. It's still connected to me. I told you guys. But this persecution they're doing to my life, this extreme way, started in 2019, and all of you started to have COVID and all these problems. Okay, another airline. The year that I, got illegally evicted from my home and I just started to travel, which was 2020, and the month, this is how you know. I can give you evidence. I complained about the landlord, and basically they were like, you can move if you want. We're not going to charge you for the remaining of the months, because they wanted me to leave. You get me? They were possessed all of a sudden. Even though I knew them for so many years, they just went crazy all of a sudden. You see? There you go. I just gave you another reason, another evidence that this is spiritual. Because how did that landlord I knew for so many years, who, right, didn't do this before, all of a sudden, how did she just go against me and started to act criminal and go after my right to live in my apartment? And they just want to create situations where they get you to leave, you know, like bullying. They just get you to leave, and if not, they'll just evict you illegally. Why? You get me? Because I knew you, and that's not how you treated people before. So just as she randomly flipped all of a sudden, even though that's not how she technically treats the residents, it's the same way I told you that human beings in jobs, you get me? People who have a job, like pilots, police, cashiers, all these places where they're always in your face, right? They're the people doing the service for you. That's why they are also starting to have bad things happen in their environment. You know, they're not doing their job very well. Either mistakes or things are happening, right? And it's affecting people badly, or they're actually conducting themselves criminally, immorally, and now there's chaos. You see what I mean? Because the same way my landlord flipped and became crazy all of a sudden and wants to just evict someone, but what she has no right to evict, it's the same way that other humans are also abusing human beings. You get me? The same demons who are stalking me, using humans they're possessing, are the same demons possessing humans all over the world who are acting crazy. You see what I mean? Those humans were always possessed, obviously. Demons just didn't come down all of a sudden. It's just that it's the time that God allowed the devil to attack the human race more. Because, okay, God's leaders and the religion, the correct form, is about to return. So the devil is like, right, if he has a choice, right, to attack you, this is the time he would love to attack you. Because then those people, right, God's leaders and the correct religion, when it comes down, guess what it's going to do? Get rid of all injustice. Get rid of all areas, like I said, right, where people are suffering, like you, who's not homeless, but you just want shade. But they accuse you of loitering if you stay in a place too long. Or you are homeless, and okay, it's even more evil because this person has nowhere to go. Where's your humanity? Why you care if they stay at that bus stop? Just forget it. Give them that whole abandoned building over there, like that. Areas of injustice, not just the injustice you're probably thinking of, like how they convict you at a courtroom, right? There's so many weird laws, so many like that. Not just the big types of injustice, not just the poor versus the rich type of injustice, not just male female type of injustice, right? A male versus female types of injustice, I mean, right? And not just the injustice of morality, also in a certain sense where religion is corrupted. Another airline. Right? In terms of where religion, this time is the V's in, something is unjust, such as the sexism, right? Puts one gender down, teaches the other to also obviously be evil. If you're going to be used to put one down, you're obviously doing evil too. So both of them are suffering, because when you're the one doing evil to others, obviously you're not in a good place, right? You're also in darkness. So no one is happy. You know what I mean? It's not just the victims. So like that. They're going to get rid of all levels of injustice, unfairness, and just problems, pain, suffering, poverty, things like that. Suffering and pain is like poverty. The Bible says the rapture includes global famine, you know, like that. I'm sure famine is something that might happen, right? Just not going to probably be this long thing, right? Everyone's going to die. Maybe God will do it in a way where you experience famine in certain parts of the world, then those people come out of it, and then maybe it goes to another part of the world. Like that. He might balance it for you like that, so that then you can rely on that country over there when you guys are suffering like that. You might rely on each other like that. It may not be all at once, because, right, almost everyone would die then like that. Or it might be a famine where, right, humans experience it so much, and simultaneous countries going to simultaneously... it might be that multiple countries experience it simultaneously rather than one after the other, and then actually extreme amounts of deaths happen. You agree? It can be vice versa. Or it can be city by city. You know? could be situational, right? People on YouTube are always making videos telling you they have jobs, but they still are poor in terms of food because, right, all their bills go to rent, which is another injustice that God's leaders are going to get rid of. They're going to make the payments you make to landlords very low. You know, it should be $100 if you ask me. It's like a hotel room, man. You know? You should stay at a hotel. Maximum the price should be maybe $30 for that day. What the hell? You're only there for a few hours. Okay, and then an apartment, it should be a couple of $100s. It should never go above $300 if you ask me. You know how much money that landlord's still gonna make in terms of business? Right? How many people are paying them that $300 a month? That's a lot of people. These things should be cheap. It's basic survival. You have no right to price them too much. That's just greed. So you see, that's why God is making demons persecute me in places that concerns this type of injustice, so I can understand it. So that in my mind, I actually see this as a problem too. You know, because I had demons possess landlord and harass me. So yes, at that time, right, I wasn't thinking about the price, right? But yeah, I'm human. I thought about it just like you probably did. Many humans have already obviously done this. You know? Do we think the rent is, I don't mean now, right? Like due to COVID. That's everybody. Everyone's going to be like, well, the rent is too high. That's common sense. I mean, before that, when things maybe were a bit decent or cheap, according to people who like to call it cheap, which is like 1,000, maybe 100 or something. Hell no, that's expensive. You get me? I'm talking about humans who even think that's expensive. I just told you, you're only there for 30 days. It doesn't even belong to you, correct? You can't change it or do anything to it. You're like a guest. It's not an actual home to you. So if you don't even own the place, right? It's just like, I'm not saying that matters, that then we should increase the price if you that own it and can do what you want to. No, I'm just saying, think about it. You're like a guest when you rent, right? It's like a hotel. Just 30 days. Let's say maybe you had to pay $20 or $30 per day, or 15, like that. That's how much we should calculate it, then what the total would be for 30. It should be fair. Why are you paying, right, 1,300 minimum? That's insanity. Just 30 days, that's how much you should take from someone's paycheck? Okay, let's say maybe we live in a world that's rich as hell. That the lowest salary is maybe, you know, gonna give this person, you know, just thousands of dollars or something, more than, let's say, 3,000 monthly salary minimum. Well, then maybe humans could think whatever. Not from a place that they think it's moral, because that's not moral. These things should always be cheap. I'm just saying from a place of affordability, if humans are actually having the type of salaries that we obviously do have in this world, which is not enough. And then two, how dare they make you pay so many bills to someone and you don't even have anything for yourself, you get me? And then there you go, the devil is going to attack your mind, and because that's evil humans who are greedy who do this, and they're going to, because it doesn't affect them, they have wealth or something, and they're going to say to you, well, a home is very essential, you know, very essential. It's like food, it's shelter. Therefore, why is it wrong to ask you to pay so much for it? That's what they're going to make it seem like. They're going to make it seem like because it's an essential need for you, it's very important, you need it. So then make it seem like then they could make it difficult for you. How should I finish this? You get me? That they're going to make it seem like then they have the right to make it hard for you to attain it. Oh my God. There's like 7 pests that are flying around, these painful ones that always bite you, that are in this bench I was sitting on. I just got up and left. Maybe it's because it rained, and they're still following me. That's another thing I want to tell you guys. Everything that's happening to me is sort of like things God is teaching me that it will also benefit you as human beings. To some degree, you're gonna suffer from it soon. Right? Pests are becoming a problem in this world now. There's another airline. I'm gonna stop this and finish this recording it somewhere else because these pests are bothering me. Ew, go away. These are really painful ones. Like when they bite you, oh, I swear to God, it's probably 30 now. It's just me. Get it? If you ask me where I am, I'm in a park right now, but it's not bothering other people. That's what I mean. So yeah, demons are possessing these pests and they're trying to bite me and bother me, just so you know. And just for your natural knowledge as a human being, no, it's not because the place I'm sitting in is smelly or because I'm carrying something smelly. It's not about smell, okay? These pests come out usually during the summer just because it's hot. They come out usually after rain, okay? But then they should just hang around the environment. They're just trying to bite me. That's all they want. So people are going to start to suffer from pests. I swear to God, just YouTube it. I think it was in Britain or something. This male, it was so sad. He was this employee and he came out and all these pests started to attack him and his employees tried to ask him to come back to the car and he just kept telling them, no, you go before me. That was such a dumb thing to say. It's like he's dying or something. He's literally being bitten left and right by these really weird pests. I don't know what their name is. I didn't look at it in detail. So they're just going to start attack people, you know, because they're possessed by demons. That proves that they're not pests. Because obviously we've been on this earth way too long to know how to deal with pests, right? No one's telling you pests are attacking someone in an environment that pests just live in. Like, it's not the typical society that's right, cleaned and, you know, civilized and built in a way that humans get to use it. No, it's just our typical cities. Why should a typical normal city that humans have built in a way that fits them, right? Why would pests come to bite you and kill you? That's weird. So it's demonic then. Like, we can prove it then. Because the person is not going to a place, you get me, that is for pests or something. They're not. They're in a normal, healthy place. These pests bother me in places that you would say is like downtown. Normal, nice places. You get me? I'm not in a place that you would say a pest would be attracted to. Whether you're carrying something dirty, whether you're dirty, whether, you know, the place has food. No, it's not like that. They come, for example, I go to this library a lot. They come there, you know? But this is weird. Because these are demons who are possessing the pest. Putting witchcraft on them, and they attack who they want. Because you might be like, okay, I get it. You're saying pests are going to become a problem, but why are they only bothering you then? Why don't they bother others, since you're saying this obviously is going to start to happen to others? Because God is making them only bother me when I'm in a given environment, when other humans are here, to show me then how that explains situations where, right, like the example I gave you, this male was being bitten too much by the pest, just him. You know, a normal, clean, healthy road. He was doing his job. He was like some delivery person. So there's nothing dirty about him or anything like that the pests were, you get me, it's sort of following or smelling or no, it's just normal city, healthy environment, normal human with cleanliness. That's what I'm saying. They were just attacking him. The other people, the pest wasn't attaching to them and he was just eating him. You get me? I'm telling you, it's demonic. I'm going to get out of here because they're biting me.